All right, well, coming to you live post a 100-92 enthralling victory is the one and only Riley Davis from Heat Check CBB. He's here on one of our Sleepers Media recaps. His Tar Heels secure a statement victory in one of the most entertaining North Carolina games I have seen since the whole Caleb Love run. I mean, I think this is the best I've seen Carolina in a very long time. You were in the building for this game, and now it appears you're eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
I am. Yes, this is my victory sandwich. Love a good late night peanut butter and jelly. Got a little raspberry jelly. I'm excited, man. I'm excited about the Heels. I can't even formulate sentences. Raspberry jelly is elite. I'm having this also in part because as I was driving into Chapel Hill tonight, I live about 15 to 20 minutes away from campus, give or take, because of traffic. I have a little secret route to get to the Dean Dome. Goes by these golf courses right off of UNC's campus. Hardly anybody knows about it, but it was packed tonight. My secret route was packed. I was late to the game. The whole town seemed like it was buzzing. Like I could tell as I'm sitting in traffic that is never there. I'm like, oh, this is for real. There is hype around this team. People are buying in, and all it took was some good ball movement and a decent win in Atlantis to get people back in. Atmosphere inside the dome was incredible. Like I mentioned, I was late. I think I got there probably at like the 18, 17-minute mark. First thing I hear is the crowd go wild as Harrison Ingram hits a three, and it's like a deafening roar. And I might have said that on this podcast, at least on the Pod is the Roof, the UNC podcast I do with Jacob Karabatsis for the Field of 68. I mentioned there were some vibes around this game that reminded me of when Carolina played Maryland in the ACC Big Ten Challenge about 7 years ago when Marcus Page was lighting it up for the Heels. And the final score, the margins, like they kind of ended similarly. That was a game Carolina won by 10 against a top 10 opponent. And I know Tennessee fell after their Maui showing, but they're still top 10 on KenPom. Crowd was great all night. That first half was the most fun I've had watching UNC basketball since the tournament run, like you hinted at. Like, it's not even close.
I think the difference between the throwback call to Maryland, which is a good call out, by the way. Listen to the Pod is the Roof, by the way. It's one of my favorite podcasts to listen to. The guys do a great job. The difference is that was Maryland. I like no disrespect to Mark Turgeon in Maryland or whoever was coaching at that point. Like this Tennessee team is legit, man. I think they're really good. And I honestly, I know they no-showed in the first half. Honestly, I thought you were making a joke about showing up late to the game, like in honor of Rick Barnes, because he also showed up late to this game. Like,
Unfortunately,
I think they're really good. I think they're really good, man. Like, I don't know how. I can't believe I'm starting this by praising Tennessee, but like they gave up 61 points in the first half. They're the number one defense in the country. And then this was still an 8-point game with like 4 minutes left. Like they didn't go anywhere. And I think it has to be a massive testament to North Carolina that I kept saying I thought Tennessee was tougher. I thought they were going to, if they hit them in the mouth, North Carolina wouldn't do anything. Tennessee didn't hit them in the mouth. North Carolina threw all the punches in the first half. And you're right. It was Harrison Ingram. It was RJ Davis. It was Armando Bacot. It was Elliot Cadeau. And I've said, I don't think this team has 5 guys. I know Cormac Ryan had 15 points off the bench tonight. They didn't need 5 guys in this game. They needed 4 guys. And it didn't matter who the 5th guy was out there because Harrison Ingram was so good. RJ Davis was so good. Let's start with Harrison Ingram, though, because you nailed this in the preview. You said you think there's an argument to be made that Ingram has been their best player, and you think that's where this is headed. Like this team's high ceiling is headed where Harrison Ingram is the best player on this roster. He just jumped out the gates. He hit 2 threes immediately. He pickpocketed Connect to half court, had a poster. Like his presence was all over the game from the opening minutes, and then they were up 15 points before you could blink. How impressed were you with that in person?
Yeah, and it was one thing that he hit those 2 threes. I think he might have missed his next 2, then came back and hit 2 more. It's like I keep waiting, just looking at his career numbers. There's part of me that's like, this feels like it's going to regress. We talked about that yesterday, but it seems like even if he misses a couple, he's right back into it. Like I talked to him a little bit post game about the work that he's put into it, and he was talking about the different trainers and shooting coaches he's worked with, and really emphasized like kind of simplifying his shot selection and getting in the gym, just going rep after rep after rep I mean, that's what's led to this progression. And it's not just his shooting. I mean, he's putting the ball on the deck more. Like he's really good in the post and he can pass. I don't know if he even finished with an assist tonight, but he had a couple hockey assists. Like the ball movement on this team is so clearly contagious with the presence of both Cadeau and Ingram. Like those dudes don't care how many points they score. They're looking to make the smart pass. Like there was a couple plays. I think Armando had a couple of plays on the short roll where he finished with 3 assists, a couple kickouts, one to RJ, one to Cormac for 3. Jalen Washington had a really nice kick out off the short roll that hit RJ for 3 in the corner. And it started, and I want to say there was one more that caught my eye where Ingram posted up. He did what he does, swung it to Cadeau, who swung it to RJ, and then Cormac was wide open on the extra pass. And it's this type of ball movement, like the ball reversals. It reminds me of the 2019 team, which I love, with Kobe White, Luke May, Cam Johnson. That team was so cerebral with how they played. It was one of the best offenses of the Roy Williams era, and they would make plays like that where the extra pass just seems second nature to them. So, yeah, I give a ton of credit to both what Ingram and Cadeau have shown on the court, but also like just the chemistry aspect of them having them there. It seems like it's just contagious with how this team plays.
Yeah, it's fun. It really is. I rarely do this after the results of one game, truly, but I've done a complete 180 on this. I mean, I was as skeptical and as out on UNC as I could be after Atlantis, despite the 2-1 record. And I don't know how you watch tonight's game and don't come away thinking that team could win a national championship. Like they have to keep playing this well. And I do think a big part of this tonight, you can tell me if you feel differently, but I think a big part of this tonight was they saw shots go in early. I mean, they poured it in from 3. I don't think that's going to happen every night, but I do think all these guys are good shooters. Like if the shots are going to Ingram and RJ and Cormac, like I believe all 3 of those guys are really high level shooters at this point. So I think, yeah, it was really important in the offseason to relaunch this roster, whatever word you want to use, with guys that are pass first. And that's not a shot. Like, can we officially call this like a healthy divorce for both sides?
Yeah.
That's Armando said it was a divorce. They're both looking better right now, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I was even rewatching that Arizona-Michigan State game today, and Caleb Love was making tremendous passes that, he showed some at UNC, but never against a level of competition like Michigan State. Say what you will about the Spartans. I know they were a little overrated and everything, but he looked really good. The team looks like, yeah, the team looks better. Caleb said he's a Tar Heel for life. Like everybody seems happy. This is good. This is good for all parties. I'm with you. I mean, again, Harrison Ingram straight up said after the game, someone asked him, what's the ceiling for this team? He said, to win a national championship. We think we're the best team in the country when we play like this. I don't understand how, if you talk to this kid once, like, I don't understand how every coach in the country wasn't recruiting him when he entered the portal.
Yeah, I think he had a big offer list, though, right? Like,
yeah, but it was kind of like UNC in Kansas and Michigan here. I guess Kentucky was in. Maybe I'm being like a little hyperbolic.
I think people see UNC in Kansas and say, yeah, I'm not going to waste my time recruiting against Bill Self and the Argyle Stripes.
Okay, that's fair. Let me just make a clip-worthy segment here talking about how incredible Harrison Ingram is in the interview, to where I said it in the preseason on the Sleepers Media Pod, but that kid, like, you can tell he's special just by talking to him. He's just a delight to interview. And it's just, it's everything about this guy. He's the perfect North Carolina basketball player. Best wing we've had since Cam Johnson, easy. And I mean, it's not that far-fetched to say he's a late first round, early second round pick and gets a nice little contract this time next year.
Yeah, the shot's got to stay, but if the shot stays, then 100%. He has everything else. He's super high IQ. I thought he was very good on defense tonight. People were worried about him with Connect, and obviously Connect went crazy. We'll talk about that in a moment, but that wasn't a Harrison Ingram problem to me. That was just Dalton Connect's going crazy against anybody. Right. So Cadeau, I got to eat some crow on Cadeau. I said in the offseason, hey, it's a reclass point guard that never works. It's not going to work. He was coming off the bench the first couple games. I thought that was a massive red flag. Here we are. I mean, he's 0 for 5 from the floor tonight, and he played fantastic. He had 10 assists to one turnover, I believe. I mean, the kid sees the game at such an advanced level. He makes everybody on the floor better. Even if he's not a threat for his own offense right now, he's such a positive asset for this team. And I just, like, I don't know what he looks like in 3 months. That's the exciting part, is like, I think he's still getting better every second he's on the floor right now. But it's pretty special that, like, you've got 3 guys who scored 20 points in this game that are all in their 3rd or 4th year in college or 5th year in college. And they're letting this little 18-year-old kid run the show because they know they're going to end up eating more. What's that dynamic like in person? Like, how did the vets sort of take this kid under their wing?
Yeah, that's the special thing about it. Like RJ seems completely content to let Cadeau rock when he's on ball when they're sharing the court together. And you notice that like RJ had 5 threes tonight. I think all of them might have been assisted. And like he's getting so many easy shots just because of Cadeau's passing and his ability to get in the lane. Yeah, you mentioned the 0 for 5. I think he's gonna get there offensively. He might not be a 35+% shooter or anything, but his burst, he can get by anybody. He can draw contact, needs to clean up the free throws a little bit, but I think he's gonna get there. And if he starts giving you just like 10 points a game, the ceiling for this team is it's Final Four national championship.
North Carolina fans love the word ceiling, man. Y'all cannot get enough of the word ceiling ever since whatever that Jordan interview was. You're going to hate this comp. Is Elliot Cadeau, is he Diet DeJuan Harris right now?
I thought you were going to say he's like Diet Tyus Jones, which I think might be.
I think he's Diet. This was a DeJuan Harris line, right?
It was, yeah.
4 for 5, 10 assists, made everybody better, but you're still like kind of frustrated he's not scoring. Like, I mean, look, he's in year 1. He's not in year 3, but I just like the fact that he can put up a DeJuan Harris line right now is impressive to me. But and also, I thought you were going to do an Elliot Bordeaux tonight or whatever, Bordeaux, whatever it is.
No Elliot Bordeaux tonight. I don't even know if we have any good wine in my wine cooler right now. That's a bluff statement if I've ever heard one. I'm sure hopefully my guy Fam appreciates that, but no Elliot Bordeaux tonight, but maybe after the next one.
I looked for a red in my kitchen. We're out of red wine. So sorry, I would have been there for the Elliot Bordeaux. I think that's the bar though. We have the Chug McDaniel bar. Elliot's bar is 10 assists. That's gotta be it. Anytime.
All right, I'm down with that.
All right, good to know. From the Tennessee side, quickly here, are you like me? Do you come away like oddly impressed with Tennessee, or are you more fixated on like how did the number 1 defense in the country just collapse and give up 61?
You know, I think Tennessee has enough of a track record to where we know what they're going to be on defense. They do this every year, like one-off game, wouldn't be so worried about it. Some of the same offensive concerns are there. Like they ran a 2-man game, like whether it was Gainey, whether it was Ziegler. And we'll pick your poison with those two and then connect. And a lot of guys kind of stand around if they're not in the ball, if they're not in the action, or if they're not getting the ball. I want to say Ziegler turned it over when there actually was some off-ball motion. It looked like he hit like it was either Meshack or James underneath the basket on a nice little cut. And Brian Ralph was sitting right next to me. He goes, "That's because they're not used to like off-ball movement. That's why that was a turnover." But yeah, they're super tough. Like they clawed back. I knew they weren't going away. I was hoping UNC would still win by like 15. I knew Carolina wasn't going to win by like 30 plus because Tennessee's too good. They fought back. Yeah, Connect is pretty much unguardable. They would get him on an island, and it didn't matter who UNC put on him. He got to the rim, and as like he finished over everybody, he finished through everybody, hit some big threes. Like he sort of spurred their run. The first couple threes he hit, UNC was up like 24, 21 points, and they felt sort of like, shot clock's winding down, a little garbage time action here, get your numbers, connect. But then it very clearly energized the rest of the team. So yeah, Tennessee's going to be fine. Rick Barnes reiterated that post game. He was saying like that. I think he opened up his presser by saying that was the worst half of basketball I ever watched, but he closed it by saying like, I know how good this team is. We're not worried. They're not panicking. They've just run into 3 really good teams.
Yeah, Brian Ralph, who I'm about to do the Duke Arkansas recap with right after this, and was with you at the game, had the quote from Rick Barnes. He said, "The worst half of basketball I've ever had from a team I've been coaching. I haven't seen a team with as much talent as we have play that bad." And then he followed that up with, "I didn't recognize the first half. It was just our mindset to start the game. I'm still baffled by it, to be honest. I'm serious. I don't think I've had a team look like that in 9 years." I think he's right. Like, I don't think that's hyperbolic to say that. It was an insane first half. You really haven't seen Tennessee, I don't want to say get punked, but the amount of open shots generated against that defense is just, it's never happened before. And give him credit. You made the shots. The ball movement was spectacular. And as good as Dalton Knecht is offensively, his defense was a big part of why you kept getting those open looks. I mean, his help side was non-existent. I can't tell you the amount of times Armando Bacot finished at the rim and Dalton Knecht stood 3 feet away just watching it. Like, It's insane to me. I don't know where he picked up those habits, but a completely dominant one-dimensional player. And I don't know how that, especially like of all systems for that guy to end up in, a Tennessee defense is like the most jarring one to watch because it makes no sense. But in one question of praise for Dalton real quick, is he the best non-center offensive player in the country? I think we got to disqualify Edey. I think we got to disqualify Dickinson. But outside of those two, is there anybody you take over him?
That's a great question. Oh, man. Is there a guard I'm forgetting about who's taking a big leap and is lighting it up?
It's like, I mean, it goes back to the 5 names everybody mentions with point guards, like Kolek. You could go Tyson Walker.
Yeah, I think he's better than Kolek. I think he's better than Walker offensively. I think he's better than Boswell and the Caleb. Like, I'm just looking at KenPom right now. Better than Jacoby Walter. I mean, when Jacoby Walter's on, it's pretty special, but I still probably give the edge to Connect.
Trey Alexander.
Alexander, I'd say Trey Alexander's right there, but it's a little tough to say Trey after he shot 1 for 16 against the Rams.
That's what I'm saying. If Dalton Connect ever shoots 1 for 16.5, I think it's Armageddon. Like, I just don't think that's going to happen. This kid, I mean, I really can't believe it, man. Like, Tennessee just got ran out of the gym for the most part, and their best player had 37 points on 13 of 17 from the field. I don't even know how to describe that. You must be thrilled. Also, petition to start calling him Alton Connect. There's no D.
No D.
There's no D. Like,
I'm about it.
Yeah, we have to. He's also built like a stained glass window. Just cannot stay in one piece. Final question from me, and then we'll let you go here. Is it time to give Hubert Davis some serious credit?
He's been really good this year. Hubert he did a much better job constructing this roster than I gave him credit for. Like, again, you mentioned it, the pass first players, developing Seth Trimble, who again had some really big offensive rebounds tonight. I want to say he only played 10 to 12 minutes, saw some time on Connect, did his best against them. But yeah, Jalen Washington also has developed a ton. Like, I give the staff so much credit for getting Trimble and Washington to buy into another year, not transferring after they hardly played last year, and getting legit minutes from them off the bench. Like, I thought Washington was bound to go transfer, like end up at a Big Ten, like a bad Big Ten school, and just average 15 a game and never like make the NIT in a good year. They have him like blocking shots. They have him making threes. Hubert's done a great job. The offensive sets he's run, they're doing a lot of horns out type action. It's just completely different than it was last year. The defense is still a concern. We don't have an answer for a Dalton Connect type player, but they make up for it by playing really aggressive and forcing turnovers, which again, they didn't do last year. So yeah, I think Hubert's been really good this year.
Yeah, I think it started in the offseason with the roster building, and I know you and I had plenty of conversations about it. There were some names that came in early committing to Carolina that were not exciting names. Harrison Ingram went way too far under the radar, in my opinion. Like, that dude was a stud. He's one of the best players that transferred this summer, and I felt like people kind of swept it aside because of who Hubert was last season.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fair. That's fine. He navigated the Caleb Love thing extremely well. That was a complicated situation. And to come out on the other side, keeping the other two guys and mutually parting ways, and then backfilling those spots with good players, getting the reclass from Cadeau. Like, I don't know that Hubert has missed in the last 6 months. And that sounds crazy to say. But then even into this season, Riley, man, like, we were making fun of him the first week because Paxton Wojcik was playing a ton. Paxton Wojcik played 3 minutes tonight. And I know that's your boy. I know that's our boy. But, like, Hubert on the fly is figuring this out and playing the right guys, the right amount of minutes in the right rotations. And all it adds up to is 100 points against the #1 team in the country. Like, give the man his flowers. That's where I'm at with Hubert, because he's the butt of every joke. He has been for 2 years. Hubert, shit. If there's a coach that deserves coach of the year more than him right now through a month of the season, I don't know who it is.
I'm with you, man. He's really been impressive. All right, last thing, I got to ghostwrite your tweet for you, then get off and.
Oh, God. All right, Twitter app is open. What do you got?
I would like to apologize to Armando Bacot and RJ Davis for saying they're not winning players when they combined for
Hold on,
four,
hold on. I would like to apologize to Armando Bacot and RJ Davis. Okay.
for saying they are not winning players before they combined for 49 points against the best defense in the country.
Combined for 49 points against the best defense in the country. Can I tag you? Can I do anything else, or is it just the caption? That's it.
I can you, how many characters can you fit? Because
I have a lot more characters.
Can you throw in something there like also I would like to give my daughter the nickname Murphison in honor of Harrison Ingram, or is that a bridge too far?
I would like to give my daughter the nickname Murphison in honor of Harrison Ingram.
And
Okay, I have 17 characters left. I'd like to just tag you.
yep, that works.
Okay. Thank you.
Pleasure doing business.
Congratulations to all Tar Heels, but most importantly, congratulations to the one and only Riley Davis. Thanks for helping us out with these recaps this week, my friend. Go subscribe to Sleepers Media so you don't miss any of these throughout all of North Carolina's season. Until next time, Riley Davis and GregWaddell.